Hello, everybody. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Cross. I see you there. Hope you're all doing great. Our guest today is Chris from Good Enough Seminary. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, I am well enough, thank you very much. And yourself?
All good, all good. End of the weekend, just quieting down, so everything is good.
Yeah,
So,
I think
Chris,
it's been Karl.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask you, would you like to start by telling us about yourself and what you do?
Okay, so I'm a very private person. No, I'm an open book. So I'm Chris. I run Good Enough Scenery. It's my nearly my second job now, I guess, with how much time I put into it and everything, and selling boards and stuff. But yeah, I make scenery for myself a lot and just for fun, and commissions come along. And I mainly use it for Middle Earth strategy battle game, battle companies, which I just absolutely adore as a game. I plan on making Necromunda scenery in the future, but that's I have to actually start playing Necromunda first and take it from there. But
Yeah, that's quite a change from the scenery you usually do because from what I've seen, mostly it's green hills and rivers and stuff. And it's absolute industrial wasteland.
yeah, but I've done a few pieces, and I've done a couple of I did a kill team board for a friend. It was a 40k one. So I've got some more gnarly stuff out there. But yeah, most of it is mountains and green hills and bridges and stonework and stuff like that. But it's it's all scenery. It's all just mainly foam, and it's just how you paint it.
You mentioned battle companies earlier. I don't think I'm familiar with that. What's that?
So that is the if you were to combine the Lord of the Rings game with Necromunda, that's
Mhm.
kind of what you get. So it's a skirmish based version of Lord of the Rings where you have a start with a small squad which grows over time, and your
Oh, okay.
heroes and warriors upgrade. So yeah, there was an official release by Games Workshop a number of years ago. It started in White Dwarf, and then they did their own release, which was absolute trash because the rules were completely broken. They clearly didn't play test them, and then a number of players kind of banded together on a Discord to write a community rulebook for it, which is kind of always evolving. That's like a living rulebook for it, and yeah, it's fixed and it's glorious now. So
All right.
yeah, sort of small squad style thing rather than massive army stuff.
Okay. I think I might want to look at that. It sounds good. Skirmish games are more my kind of jam.
Yeah, so well, if you head over to my YouTube channel, me and my friend Stephen, who I play with most frequently, have started a thing called the Good Enough Battle Companies podcast, which kind of talks you
Aha.
through everything you need to know. So, you
Ah,
know,
spoiler alert. Okay.
head over there. Not now. Keep watching now, but
I
afterwards.
what I will do now is I will drop a link to your channel in the chat for anyone who's not aware of that yet. There you go. Boom. And in
Thank
the
you.
meantime, hi Mia, hi Kim, good to see you, and hi Dungeon Matron. Hope you're all doing good. So, how did you get into wargaming and crafting in the first place?
So I started, wargaming I did when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12. I played Warhammer 40,000 second edition.
Good times.
So yeah, that was when everyone was a lot smaller and a lot cheaper, and well, it seemed more expensive, but it was actually a lot cheaper. And this was this was going back to the time when the Blood Angels were the kind of poster boys of 40k. Um, yeah, and I played Ultramarines to be different,
Uh,
and now yeah, they were the ones that weren't were unpopular then. So that's what I was like. I'm not going with Blood Angels. Blood Angels suck. I'm going for Ultramarines, and now, yeah, lo and behold, they are the poster boys. So and then I basically took a 20 plus year hiatus from it, and my friend said, "Hey, I play Lord of the Rings Battle Companies." I was like, "That sounds really nerdy. I don't think I want to do that." And I played one game. I was like, I love that. How do I do that more? And it came along at a good time in my life where I needed some distraction and I needed some stuff to do. So it started off with just painting models, and I was like, well, it would be fun to make a bit of scenery. Oh, there's a bit of foam lying around. There's that left over there. There's this, or there's that tutorial and stuff. And then basically what happened is I just started making more and more and more of it. And then I joined the Middle Earth Strategy Battle Game Facebook group, and I just took a photo of my board set up one day, and someone went,
Sorry.
"If you made all of that, then I need to have a tutorial." And I was like, and then a whole bunch of people were saying, "Yeah, how did you do that, this, that?" And I was like, okay. So I started up a YouTube channel. I thought, oh, it'd be nice if I got 100 views on the first video or something like that. And then I think I, I got up to 100 subscribers unreasonably quickly, and then it just kept growing, and it was something that I liked to do. And it started off as good enough because I knew how many faults were in it, and I knew that it wasn't great and it wasn't perfect, um, and then as my sceneries got better and I've got learnt new techniques and just done it more and more and more, it has got pretty decent. And people are like, why is it called good enough? And for me, it's called good enough because you know you can stop at any point you feel like it's good
Mm-hmm.
enough. So you can. It's like painting a model. You like paint a model. You could go, right, I'm gonna put the blue there. I'm gonna put the white there. Put the yellow there. I've painted it. It's like, okay, that is painted. That's good enough. But you could do some edge highlighting, or you could put a shade on it, or you could paint in the eyes properly, or you stop where it's good enough. You don't need to do every single detail that I do. I'm not even sure if anyone does do anything I do, or they just go, oh, that's a video. Watch that now. On to the next one.
I noticed that you've been focusing mostly on terrain boards in your videos. Is that the bulk of what you do, or is it it's like you're just doing a series of videos about that for now, and then you're going to move on to something else?
It kind of just happened as a product of circumstances more than anything else. So I didn't really have the space to. First time I made a modular board, I didn't have space to store a full board. So I was like, well, I'll make a modular one. So like, well, my first ever modular one wasn't probably modular, it was sectional, as in it came apart into different bits.
Okay.
And it was an absolutely ginormous, well, it was 4 foot square, but it was flipping tall. And it was like supposed to be Mines of Moria
Oh,
type
okay.
thing. Um, um, so, well,
Start small,
mine's
right?
in Moria. Yeah, start small, yeah. And it wasn't that great, and the tiles didn't go together very well, and it took up a hideously unreasonable amount of space in a cupboard that was, and all the flock was falling off into the cupboard, and it was just a bit. So I wanted to make another board, but I wanted it to be more pack awayable, not make so much mess and stuff. So I just started making a board, and because I'd started the channel, I filmed it, and then I think one post that I put on the MESBG group got like 3,000 likes on it, and I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
"That's insane!" And then my channel just started rocketing, and there seemed to be a space in the market to be talking and promoting modular boards, and then the same I found across Reddit as well, and you know then I sold my original board to someone in Australia. So that board isn't my first ever board in Australia
Okay.
now. Not the Mines of Moria one. That's in the bin. But my first one I made for myself, and then a friend wanted the board, and then the local hobby shop wanted the board, and then I realized I didn't have my own board, and then I made a kill team board for someone else, and then I made one for another friend, and then I finally got around to making my own board, and that's where we are now. So it's just been, because they take a fair amount of time to make.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Not just for not that long, but it's not as quick as just throwing a building together or throwing a bridge together or something like that. So, and because it produces a lot of content, it's, in terms of getting seen on YouTube, it's a good way to go, rather than going, oh, there she is. Oh, so that's the board I made for my friend most recently there. So
Oh.
yeah, it's not the best I've made. Second
Hey,
best, probably. There's Jazz at the back, who's
hey, hi there. I mean,
Yeah.
so
So
are these 1 foot square kind of thing? So we've got a 4 by 4 table kind of thing.
yeah, four by four. So yeah, each one's um yeah 1 foot square, and yeah, all of the tiles can go next to any other tile pretty much with that board. There's a small difference with that one just because you'll see that with like the top left two tiles, that is like a river and a modular hill in one.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay,
it took
got you.
yeah. So the only issue with that one was it's a sort of thing when you're making a modular board is that you have a situation whereby you like, some people go, yeah, but you can see all the lines. I'm like, well, okay, yes, of course you can. I've tried my hardest, but they're impossible to make invisible. So you can either have a board which has one single setup and you throw scatter terrain on it,
Hmm.
or you have a board that can go into hundreds of different like hundreds of different variations. Now, this was the first board where I had river tiles where the river was offset. So when I first did the river tiles in my first board, the rivers were dead center. So if I had a straight tile, it was the same whether it was pointing left to right or right to left. It's the same tile. Whereas with these ones, it was kind of offset. So um, so like you look at the tile and it's currently bottom left. I think that's a straight river tile, but it's offset to one side so that if that was rotated 180 degrees, it's a different position for the river to be in. So
Gotcha.
that kind of variety just adds a huge amount more to the combinations that you end up coming up with. So um, yeah, so with that river, I think there's 7 pieces of it. So you can have it as one continuous flowing river. You can have it as 3 different parts of river, because you can have this one corner piece at the corner, and it just looks like the river comes into the map and then goes off again, whereas the other tiles are doing something else. Um, and someone said that is a sweet layout of the hills part of the tiles. Yep, the hills and are joined in with the tiles, to which people would say why.
Why not?
Um, well, yeah, and the answer is why not. But I think that I can't remember the last time I played a game with someone and someone didn't knock a bit of scenery a little bit. Like if you've got a hill attached to the board itself, it doesn't go anywhere. And also, I think and also the like for example, the kind of bottom row of tiles there, where you can see the hills
Hmm.
joining on. They're like it flows nicely from one into the other. If those were the scatter terrain on top,
Good
if
point,
you
yeah.
put it on top of static grass, then they kind of look like they're floating a little bit.
And
So,
if
and we've already got enough lines on the board.
and if you do the hills separately, you've also got the problem of you can only make them so large.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, and yeah, you end up thinking, well, I made this for storage purposes, and now I've got a massive hill to store. So, yeah, the kind of bottom right 3 tiles and the next one up, those kind of can be reformed into a 4-way hill. So all of those go
Hmm.
back together as a 4. So you could, if you want a board that's got one central objective, then that we have a big hill in the center, but equally they can be at the sides like that, or you can, because they're corner pieces, you can put them right the way out of the way at the corners, so that they're just you know um, terrain that you're not really thinking about.
You know what really does my head in when even thinking about modular terrain is designing stuff so that it fits together properly in multiple ways.
Well, that's what I'm really pleased about with my most recent board. I'm not sure if I sent you a picture of the most recent one or not.
Which one is it? Which one's
So
which?
that's the mountainous one. If not, I can just grab a piece, and it's
I
just all
think
behind
it's
me.
this one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay,
So
okay,
that's the
okay.
one I'm just finishing now. So every single tile can go next to every other single tile.
Oh, nice.
So if you look at so where you've got your kind of cursor, to put it on, like if you go down a little bit, yeah. So the where you see that kind of most obvious join, kind of middle of the picture there.
Hmm.
So if you look there, the that join is 4 centimeters in. Yeah, exactly there. So every single one has a bottom layer which is 4 centimeters in and then cut at that angle. The next part is 10 centimeters in, cut at a different angle, and the next one is 15 centimeters in and then vertical for
Oh,
an inch
okay.
and then cut off over. So
I
no
see.
matter every single tile is at that like that, and then what happens between the point where you kind of enter and exit the tile doesn't matter. So it can be a big sweeping corner, it can be a really tight little corner, or it can be a straight edge. It doesn't matter because it's only the edges that actually count here. So
I see. Yeah.
there's, I think there's 5 different straight tiles. There's 10 different normal corners. There's 2 different internal corners, and then there's like some riser tiles as well. So there's the one on the immediate kind of on the far right. That's a lake tile, which is kind of higher up.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lake tile there. So and it's got a 40 mil deep resin pour. Deepest one I've ever done.
Yeah, I'm. Sometimes it's still a bit. Yeah, with resin, it's like, okay, do I really want to use resin on this one? Do I want to risk it? I mean, mostly I
For
haven't had
me, I
much problem, but there's always that fear.
well when I did the video for on how to do that, um, I used the line from Jurassic Park, "Life finds a way." Um, just like life finds a way, resin finds a way. So, like with that, despite the fact I blocked it off in 4 different ways, there still was a tiny, tiny leak. I was just like,
Oh.
how the I mean, it was fine. It was absolutely fine. I just had to like plug it up very quickly. No, literally no mess whatsoever, just like a dribble. But I was still just like, how? Like, I feel like I've poured water into a glass and somehow the bottom of the glass has leaked. I mean, that's how sure I was about the whole thing. But yeah, given that, I mean, there must have been a good liter or more of resin going in. I wanted to be sure that it was sealed up, so I poured it all in and then just sat there kind of going at it for a while. Do you want me to answer that comment or
No, I just put it up so you could see it. So yeah, then you
yeah?
make.
So the flocking is fabulous. I love the different textures and colors. So um, yeah, I mean the way in which I've done that. So I mean I've had quite a few comments on the grass, and so the grass is 3 different just pretty standard flocks that you'd
Mhm.
get. But so I think that sometimes you just go, oh, I'm going to flock it in this color. But I think that when you look at like grass, it's a different.
Yeah,
Unless you're
it's not
looking
a
at like
uniform color.
a
Yeah.
bowling green, if you're looking at a bowling green or a cricket pitch or a football pitch, then it's all kind of cut very. But if it's just supposed to be rugged terrain, then it can be anything. So yeah, there's one like really fine one. There was a spring mixture, and then there was like a different like a turf type thing as well, just to get the variety in the lengths of stuff. And then with the stone parts of it, I used a grey stone flock for the majority of it, but then I used basically sand on one bit and rocks on another bit, and just tried to I tried to think about. So noticed that on the sheer part when in the video when I'm talking about how I made it,
Hmm.
in wherever it was sheer, I thought that's where there would be more bigger rocks.
Hmm.
So concentrated on that, but then put a few in other places as well, just to just have a little bit of variety, so it's not just um, plain throughout. So and it also gave a nice thing to be able to do some like little water features as well, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, with this kind of terrain, you don't want it to look like it's been, no one's been out mowing this grass and sweeping up the stones and so on. So the variety helps it a lot.
Yeah, just try and try and make it as interesting as possible, essentially. Which is why I kind of with the rock faces themselves. I mean, I even felt a bit insane doing it myself, but to be painting the rocks bright blue and bright red as part of the process,
Yeah,
it looked like I'd go. given my work to a toddler and said, just mess this up for me, would you? Um,
Yeah, I know, right?
but
But
yeah,
it always turns out so good. I use that system a lot, and until the washes and the paint dry, it always looks like
yeah, like here's the primary colors just thrown at my hard work, and yeah, but rocks and cliffs aren't just grey and brown, are they? They've got all sorts of lovely pigments and stuff in them. Um, so we try and aim for that to be a bit more interesting, right?
yeah, of course. So let's see. Campaign Terrain is saying that he's been loving this series, showcasing this board. Yeah, there's a lot of good material in there.
I doff my hat. Thank you very much. It's been fun to create it.
Okay, I see that Evolution of Gaming and Go For It Painting have joined us. Good to see you. And Evolution of Gaming is saying you might want to stop getting better at making scenery, unless you want to change your name to High Quality Scenery.
Well, yeah. I mean, we did just speak about that, so it is good. Look, if you zoom back in on that join, you'll see that that is not perfect. You'll see that yeah, look at that join. It's horrendous. Look at that. A massive gap. I mean, I'm not sure if they were properly up against each other or not, but even still, the angle doesn't look quite right. So, we'll stick with good enough for now.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, it's the sort of thing. Like I said, if people like notice the lines. Like once you get playing on a modular board, I honestly don't think that you notice. Like, I mean, if people are happy playing with using a cup and a saucer and an
Yes,
upside down
exactly.
pot, it's like if you're happy with that, then you kind of have to be okay with you know some lines where bits of terrain join. But you do you.
Yeah, I mean, what I usually say is that if players are noticing the problems in the terrain, then the game is probably not interesting enough.
It's like you're trying to find a reason to not like this. Uh,
Okay,
well,
Dungeon Matron is asking, where do you store all this?
well, it's on like 2.5 shelves behind me at the moment. But the thing about it is, if you the corner tiles which make up the bulk of it, so there's 10 small corner tiles. Um, if you flip them on top of each other, they form just a little square, and then you can turn them on their side, and then you can just slot them onto a shelf. So
Aha, okay.
I can show you. If you want me to show you?
Oh, yeah, sure. One sec.
I mean, this might be a whole thing. So 1 second. I'm gonna have to carry a microphone with me and not my drink over. Um, this is not the most elegant solution, but it's the solution I'm working with at the moment. So it's pretty dark. And turn the light on. So the board is stored. So from there upwards
Oh,
is
okay. Ah,
so it's
that
not.
is very efficient. It is very efficient.
Yeah. So these are like flipped on top of each other and just slotted in there. So yeah, it's not horrendous, but yeah, obviously it could be. I have a plan.
Oh,
I have a plan, but I'm not saying anything about it
okay.
until I make it happen because I mean, in theory, it should be absolutely fine. But I don't want to. I don't want to say, "Oh yeah, I've got this awesome thing. I'm going to do this, and this," and then it just doesn't happen at all. So yeah, it's but it takes up some space, but it's not. You know, if it was a full 6 foot by 4 foot board,
Yeah, that would be
but
different story entirely.
it'd be a different story entirely. And I'd only have one setup, so that's why
Oh, fair enough.
that's why modular boards are my jam.
So, I had a question. Do you attach them together by any means, I don't know, magnets or something, or just put them next to each other on the table?
Um, when I set it up?
When you're playing, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the scenario that we're playing, but um, they I normally just start getting tiles out and putting them down and go, oh, it'd be cool if it was like this because there are I don't know how many different variations there are, but it's a lot. So there's going to be times when you have so with what I play and with what most people play, quite often there's a try and control different parts of the board type thing, like a domination type thing where
Hmm.
you've got different areas. So you think, what would be a cooler thing to have in the middle? Okay, well today we'll have the very center of the lake in the middle. You know, that would be a cool thing. Or another day it might be we want a big hill there, or it might be we want big open ground and like it's controlling the center of a valley. So the modular board just allows you just to kind of just throw it down and go, well, this is what it looks like now, but what if I put this one over here? Um,
Hmm.
so when I have friends over to play, I might have set it up and I'll be like, look, I get to do this all the time. Go nuts. You get like you do what you want with it. People are like, really? It's like, yeah. It's like just click and move some stuff around, just have some fun. Like
Nice.
it's fine.
So what I was asking is about basically the if you have any way of connecting them together. So for example, if someone bumps the table,
No,
they don't scatter. They hold up just like that. All right.
yeah, but I think that basically just they're not that heavy at all. Apart from the one that's got like a liter of resin in it, they're not heavy. But just I think if someone smashes into the table, then you know anything would go flying. But
True. Yeah.
in the most part, they just exist there, and I think that the fact that the more central ones are obviously restricted in all directions. I think basically I rely on friction.
Okay. I mean that works.
Yeah, yeah. It's worked for me so far. So yeah, and the MDF board, whilst it's not heavy at all, it adds that little bit of
Yeah.
extra weight. Um, and then so just a little bit of weight and some friction. It's served me well so far. But I have thought about always saying, oh yeah, you could get a couple of magnets in each one, but I've not really encountered it so far that anything that's happened that's been so bad that makes me think I really need to change how I'm doing this because in the most part it's basically like no more likely to move than a gaming mat is. That's how I kind of view it. I don't think.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, if you, like I said, if you smash into it, then different story. But
Yeah, I mean the miniatures will probably go flying anyway, so best be careful anyway.
yeah, so yeah, it's served me well doing it how I've done it so far. So
Okay, because the Terin is saying just a couple of those tiles can be enough for an RPG session. Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I have had people just commission me to do a tile for like a D&D thing, like a particular thing that they're doing, and I get a lot of comments on TikTok, especially saying, "Oh, is this for like D&D?" It's like my 6 foot by 4 foot board. Is that for D&D? What you think I've got this out all day, every day? And I'm like there's a campaign that takes one of those like 40-year campaigns that people have. It's like no, it's just
Play it on a single board. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's not to say that it couldn't be used for D&D. It just isn't.
You just don't need all 16 square feet of it at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so speaking of commissions, how do you go about it? For example, if someone had to ask how you price a piece or how you I don't know how you estimate how much work it will take.
I think the thing is with this kind of work is that you've got to if anyone's kind of makes their own stuff and they want to sell it, is to recognize that they're not going to be a millionaire doing it. It's at the end of the day, you are going to be swapping your time for money, and you're going to be paying yourself less than minimum wage probably, because that board there that you were just looking, I'll just show you. I mean, I would say that if I was to sell that to someone, I'd probably want 50 quid a tile. So that's £1,200. Um, and I don't know how many hours it took, but let's go with several. Um, and plus everything else that goes into it. The materials don't know how much the materials were, but let's say there were 200, something like that, with everything. So you're making £1,000, but you're making £1,000 with, I don't know, a lot of hours going into it,
Oh yeah.
and then adding more and more hours as you kind of. So, and the thing is that I keep thinking of new things I wanted to add. So the new the new video that I've just put on my channel today, I had made one of the corner tiles, and then I put something on my thing saying, "Oh, what do people think I should add a scatter terrain?" And someone said, "A mine entrance." I was like, "A really good idea." I kind of had it in my head a little bit, but I was like, so I didn't want to make another brand new tile, so I had this perfectly good cliff tile that was finished, and next thing I know, I'm cutting a massive hole in it so I can then build up like a little mine entrance inside of it. It's like that was finished, and then I've gone and spent another 2 hours on it. So I think that there has to be a balance in your head between what people are willing to pay and actually making some money on it so that you're finding the whole thing worthwhile. But also recognizing that, until you get to absolute like perfection, you're not going to be able to charge stupid money, because most people don't want to spend. If people who play these types of games have got spare money, they're probably going to want to buy a new army.
Fair, yeah.
It's like, do you want to spend £600 on your wargaming board, or do you want to buy a new army?
Eh.
Well, a new army sounds fun, but but for other people, it's just like, no, I want to spend my money on models, and I don't care what the terrain looks like because I just want to roll dice. So it's a tough thing, but I try and price it in a way which I think is fair to me, and an expensive but reasonable amount for people to pay for a pretty decent quality product.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And again, the value of your own time is, I mean, it is quantifiable because you have a job apart from this one, so you know exactly how much your time costs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So yes, if I was to apply my other job salary um to this, I'd be like, okay, so that board's going to be £3,000 because I'm paying myself X amount an hour. So, and that's how much my time's worth. It's like my time's worth different amounts for different things,
Yeah, for sure.
and I thought that's how you have to view it. Um, so great example of this is um, I made a friend said to me, "Can you make me like a ruined building with a kind of like a staircase up and some places to shoot out of?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And
Is it one of the ones
it
that you sent me here?
um possibly
Let's
I
see.
have a poor recollection of what I sent you. That, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That probably took me, with everything that went into that, about half as much time as it took me to make the modular board I made for him,
Okay.
because of all of the little details that have gone into it. Yeah, just stupid things that just take far longer than you would want them to take. So, just making those rafters and stuff like that, and even deciding to have rafters in the first place, and cutting the angles off of um on the kind of top bits, and then painting in those cobblestones. It's like all stuff that, like, there's an hour there, and there's an
Oh yeah,
hour
of
there, and
course.
there's an hour there. Like, even if I was to charge £20 an hour, that would end up being 200, £300. That is not worth two or £300. You can't. There's no universe in which that is the correct amount of money to charge for that, or that anyone would pay that much, or nor should they, because if you've got that sort of money, you go, well, I'm going to go and buy the official Battle of Osgiliath terrain,
Yeah.
because I can get more than that, and it's going to be more. It's made of plastic, and it's going to be more durable and everything else. So no, you can't apply the same logic, um, to like same pricing and same logic to your job or whatever, to making terrain, because it means it just won't sell any.
Yeah, pretty much. So, in the meantime, I see that Dirty Basement Terin has joined us. Good to see you, Lawrence. And yeah, I think Dungeon Maiden is making an attempt on your sanity. Here you go.
You could make modular entries
For
for instance. Yeah, I could. I could also not. I mean, I'll be honest. I put that the entrance thing onto TikTok, and a bunch of people said, "Oh, does that go all the way through the mountain then?" I was like, "No." I mean, it absolutely could, but then you've got to have a way of carefully being able to have models on top of the hill and inside of the hill and be able to move them and check line of sight and all sorts. So for an RPG thing, yeah, absolutely, you just have a top that lifts off because if you're doing D&D and you've just got people going into a cave or a mine, you just go, okay, cool, we'll lift up the top because all the models are underneath. But if you've got models on top and underneath, it's just
yeah,
asking for trouble.
and I can absolutely guarantee if I was playing on the table and there was that kind of thing with modules going under the a tunnel or something, I would totally forget that they're there.
Like either forget to move them or forget that your enemies put them in there and you go, oh, so yeah, I'm being ambushed now.
Okay, let me bring up some more pictures. Ah, okay, here.
Oh, it looks pretty. There's nothing quite like making a bit of scenery that's okay, and then having natural light streaming in through the window at a low height. It just makes it look 100 times better.
Oh, it does look
So
amazing.
yeah, and what I love about that is, if you had to guess, how deep would you say the resin pour is on that?
Mm, I'm going to go with 1 centimeter.
Exactly 1 centimeter. It's incredible how it looks like it's not though.
Yeah, I mean, it does have a lot, it does look like it has a lot of depth. It looks amazing.
And that's pure. So if you really want to add the illusion of depth to
Mhm.
your resin pours, then painting the base of whatever you're pouring makes such a difference. So that's just almost clear resin, and then just a very. I mean, believe it or not, I'm not artistic. I'm not particularly creative. Um,
Yes,
so
you
essentially,
are.
the amount of stuff that I just kind of copy rather than like just come up with is ridiculous. It's unusual for me to feel like I'm a creative person because I've never been in for like for the first like 36 years of my life I wasn't. It's only in the last few that I have been. Um, but yeah, such a simple blue and green kind of splodging paint down in the middle of it, and then putting a bunch of stones at the side. All of a sudden, it just looks like it's a lot deeper. So
Oh, yeah, sure does.
yeah,
Do you tint the resin in any way, or is it just clear resin?
I think that one had just the slightest tint of green in it, just because they said they wanted it to be kind of bluey green. So I thought I'll get some of the color from the resin itself and some of the color from the underneath. And it's one of my favorite rivers I've made, I think.
Okay, I'm seeing here. Is that just sticky tape that you've got over there as a barrier?
No, I'm not that bold. Uh,
I was wondering.
yeah, but one bit of sticky tape will be fine. No, my preferred like my preferred way of making dams now is to have cut strips of acetate sheet, um, and then fill the inside with UV resin, and then um, seal that, or
Okay.
set that, and that kind of forms a bond. And then I normally then double up by having either UV resin or a glue gun just to hold the um, edges of the acetate sheet down. But to be honest, most of the time, just having the UV resin and acetate sheets enough, as long as unless you're doing something huge. But yeah, that's working for me so far. I've tried a whole bunch of different things for dams in the past. some more successful than others. But yeah, my advice is if you're going to do resin pours, and particularly on your first one, just pretend like be the most pessimistic man or pessimistic person in the entire world about where resin could possibly find its way out because it will. So I would say it defies the laws of physics, but it literally just follows them.
But it's very particular about following them. You're right to the letter.
Yes. Yeah.
And I believe that's Vallejo water texture you use on top of that to make the
Correct.
ripples, alright?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a brilliant product. I mean, I have played around with just doing it with watered down glue, but I think that particularly for this was one that I sold, so I think for when you're making it for someone else, he's gonna go, well, I'll buy the product and do the thing. It's just, I mean, it could not be easier to make it look like that. You just paint the stuff on and then stipple it.
I did try to experiment with some transparent silicone mixed with white spirit. That seems to give a similar effect, but obviously you have to mix it and stuff. If you can just get it out of a bottle, it's much easier.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to go, you know what? There's this product, it does this thing, and then I get to do the thing, and then it's done. It's like so with the mountainous board, like we were talking about like the
Hmm.
leopard spotting that you have, like you put the bright red and bright blue and stuff on. So you can go and buy a proper inks and stuff like that and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna take the cheapest paint that I can find. I'm gonna put it with some water and some washing up liquid, and that's my wash. There we go, done. Like it depends, but things don't necessarily have to be expensive. I mean, so but that river there, I mean, by doing it with resin, that's what makes that expensive. But you can do much simpler things with silicon rubber, which would be cheaper. You can do simpler things with like toilet paper and PVA glue. It depends what level of stuff that you want. So the first video I ever had on my channel is a river that when I look at now it makes me cringe because I think it's just awful. But for a lot of people that's going to be good enough, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'd
but
never make a river like that now, but it
still,
worked and I was happy with it at the time.
still, I mean that kind of thing is still very useful because if people who are new to crafting only see where you're at now, it might not be a project that they might want to get into because no, that looks like too hard for me. If they see the beginner project, okay, it doesn't look as good as the new one, but this is something I could handle.
Yeah, I still find it hard to, well, I don't know. I don't think that much of what I do is difficult. And that's not me being a dick, I swear. I just honestly don't think it's that difficult.
Still, I mean,
I
it's
mean,
not a question of pure difficulty, but it's also, beginners, especially if they're not used to something, they're going to find it intimidating purely because they don't know how easy it is.
yeah, fair point. I think that so I did a TikTok live earlier and someone said to me, "Oh, I'm I've just come across your stuff. It looks really good. I want to make terrain, but I'm not brave enough." And I'm just like, I think, well, what's there to be scared of?
Right?
Like, like you make some. Like, I think for me, one of the big things, we're going to back to like how I got into it. One of the big things for me with making scenery and terrain is how beneficial it is to my mental health. Just to be able to have something to focus upon, having something to take my mind off other shit that's going on. So, like, if you haven't made any terrain and you want to make some terrain, remove yourself from the outcome. Just go.
Oh,
I
that's a
don't
good
like.
point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, like you know what you want it to look like. You know the process that you're going to be following. Sure, but just just enjoy doing it. Just enjoy, the different stages and just being in that moment and just because so. my other job is I'm a therapist, so it kind of ties in quite nicely with this. So anxiety is a future-based disease. Depression is a past-based disease. Neither of them exist in the present. Okay, if you're actually in this moment right now, you can't be anxious because you're only here. And you can't be depressed because you're only here. So the more you can do to bring yourself into this moment here, like by just if you're thinking about the outcome, you're in the future, so you're anxious.
Right.
If you're thinking about
Which,
if you're thinking about the mistakes that you've made along the way, you're in the past, so you're kind of got the more depressed brain. So let's be here right now, because we've only got this moment and this moment and now this moment now. So be in this moment here, doing this bit of painting, doing this cutting, doing this tearing a ruler along a bit of foam to make it more jaggedy, and just be there doing that, not thinking about the end, just this thing right now, now this thing right now. So there's nothing to be brave about, and there's nothing to, if things like I fuck up all the time, and then you go right, oh, God, that's terrible. How do I fix that? Like, my thing is, if you make a mistake, what can you do to accentuate it?
it kind of becomes like
Like,
a puzzle at that point. It's like which is
yeah. So
fun, make it a game.
yeah. So look, if a cut goes completely wrong, sometimes it's like, well, that's gone completely wrong. I'm gonna have to redo that. No two ways around that. What did I do wrong? I did that. Okay, well, try and make sure that doesn't happen again. No, for other things, it's like, well, I didn't mean to do it like that. What would I do if I had meant to have done it like that? What would be the next thing that I'd do with it?
Okay, so you basically doing the Bob Ross thing. We don't make mistakes. We only have happy accidents.
Sure, why not? It's happy accidents all the way. It's the thing. Look, depending on why you're here and what you're doing, essentially, most of us are grown-ups who are doing this in order to roll some dice and move some plastic men around. It should be our uh, chance to step away from reality and all the things that are shit in the world, not our place to bring them into the good thing that we like doing. So
Yeah,
let's just look, make it good enough.
yeah, just enjoy the process kind of thing. Yeah.
Enjoy the process. Don't focus on the outcome. And later on, as you get better and better, then that's when you can go right. Well, I really want it to look like this. In which case, you will learn and you'll get better and better because it's inevitable. You can't repeat doing something and get worse at it. It's not, it's not possible.
I mean, one of the things I find really calming about it is that just building something physical. Like at the end of this year, we want to have a physical object, and I find that really calming for some reason.
I think it's nice to have a something or other in our life in which we can say that we have complete control over
True. Yeah.
because we have no we control I'm getting into therapy session now, but we control two things in this world. We control our thoughts and we control our actions. We don't control anything else. And if you think about them, most of the things that we tend to worry about, they are the things which are not our thoughts and our actions. They are what other people think about us or what other people are doing. They're about circumstances which we have no ability to influence whatsoever. So being able to just kind of get some foam, get a knife, get some paint, cut something up, and then all of a sudden you've had this whole thing in front of you which you have created out of basically nothing. You know, even if it doesn't look exactly like you wanted it to, that's what it looks like right now,
Yeah,
and that's okay.
it's a thing that didn't
And it's
exist 5 minutes ago. Yeah.
yeah, an hour ago I didn't have this. An hour ago I didn't have this little bridge that I made, and now I've got this little bridge. Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough? Yes, it absolutely is. So
Okay, I see that Earthman Brick joined us. Hi, Steve. And also saw something from Lisa earlier about making waves. I want to try blowing at gloss Mod Podge with a straw to make waves. I think that might look cool. Uh,
seen it done. I think I've seen what's his name? Luke Thingamajig, the one that makes the insanely good diorama stuff.
Is it Luke Towen or Luke from Gaming Scenics or
No, the first one,
okay,
the
Towen, Luke
Australian
Towen. Okay,
guy.
all right.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen him do stuff where he's like blowing like the Mod Podgery. I tried that on my first ever river piece, and then it dried, and I hated it. So then I was there just like cleaning. I just didn't like how it looked. But I'll just buy the Vallejo stuff. Um, but yeah, if you want the cheaper option, then yeah, Mod Podge would be the way. But
Okay,
I think
just a word of warning for anyone who wants to try that. There have been some people who shall remain unnamed who tried to do that for a marble effect and almost knocked themselves out purely to loss of air. So yeah, be careful.
yeah, but ventilation is important.
Okay, and Campaign Terrain is saying that's much of why I love crafting. When I'm making, my mind is only in making. I like how it silences all the thoughts.
There you go. What I said. Fist bump for campaign terrain.
Yeah, it makes
Makes
yes.
makes the voices go away. I mean, if you don't have an internal monologue, then I'm a bit worried.
I have more of an internal commentary, and I like to imagine it's Samuel L. Jackson going, "What the hell is he doing? Why the hell is he doing it? What the fuck is he doing?" Okay, let's.
Right else I sent you.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
So that's the same board from earlier set up for play. When I said about having the hill as essential objective. So that's
Mm-hmm.
so that is some dwarves from Khazad-dûm fighting against some
Elves, I
Haradrim and
think.
Kana.
Okay.
No, don't be so rude. They are not elves. Disgusting word. Good night. We don't like elves. Um, yeah, so that's at the Jedi Archives store in Dorchester, which is my local store. And there's the desert board that I made directly behind that one. Is
Nice.
yeah, I like it in places. I don't dislike it in other places. But what's interesting is that obviously that hill at the board at the back there, that is basically made up of four-way modular hills that can go anywhere you want to. And it's amazing that people, I think, are too afraid to move the tiles around because unless I go in there and move them around, every time I go in there, it's exactly the same sound. Like, dude,
Oh, okay.
it can go anywhere. Any piece can go anywhere. Just fucking move them. Like, uh,
Yeah, so
yeah,
so we could say it's being
it's
treated with great reverence.
too much respect. Throw it around the room. But yeah, I really like the board that's kind of front and center at the moment. Yeah, really so many different setups, and yeah, those cliff faces I made on this board gave me the confidence to go a stage further with the next one.
Nice.
So yeah, no, I do. I'm gonna have to make another board with a river. I really want to make. There's two things I really want to make that
Mm-hmm.
I haven't worked out how to do them yet. So I
Ooh,
want to have a modular board that has a real proper flowing feeling to river like comes down from height and stuff.
ooh,
So
okay.
there's all sorts of twists and turns and stuff.
Like a
But
waterfall and
that
stuff like that kind of thing.
but not so much like a well maybe a waterfall. I mean I've done like waterfall bits before, but more like like a river goes down a hillside. It's on a slant, right? So having the ability
Oh,
for it to
okay.
be slanted and twist
I
and
get you.
turn and
Okay.
stuff. So if you were to make a standalone board, you just go, well, the river starts here and it flows down the hill like this and whatever. Making that modular, just the idea just kind of falls apart. So or I haven't worked out to not make it fall apart as an idea. And the other thing that I want to make, and I will work this out, is how to make a um, like you know what Osgiliath from Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a ruined, flooded city. Like so,
Oh,
easy, simple enough to make a 4 foot square board with towers and floods and docks and bridges and whatever else that you might have in Osgiliath. No problem with that whatsoever. Having that modular and having it make sense being modular, I cannot work out yet because there's no point in having it modular just for the sake of it being modular. Because so there's got to, if you're gonna have tiles that have got a ruined building here, a ruined tower here, a bit of something rather over there, it's like wouldn't that just be better as scatter terrain?
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Co-
so I haven't worked out how to make that happen properly yet.
Besides, I think you've also got the problem of being able to move miniatures between those. So I'm figuring because there's going to be a lot of bridges and walkways and stuff you drop on because otherwise, yeah, it's going to be very difficult to connect everything.
Yeah, so my first stage with when I'm planning a modular board is to print out a grid of squares
Mhm.
and then cut them all out and then to start drawing tile designs down. And I think I must have drawn out about 5 or 6 different designs for your skilly fan and go, ah, for fuck's sake, and just like screwing them up and just chuck them across the room. And but I will get there eventually. But it's probably going to be a Mordor board next. So, but
I'm sorry, didn't get the last thing you said. It's probably going to be a.
Mordor board.
Oh, nice.
So I can like lots of lava,
Dum dum
lots
dum.
of yeah. So I guess a bit like the mountain board I've got made there, but with where all of the open ground that there is at the moment being lava, and there being lots of scatter rocks which act as platforms between the different areas of um, hills. That's what I'm thinking, but that's still a work in progress at the moment, and it's going to cost a fortune in resin. So I'm know, kicking
Yeah, I
kicking
guess.
that can down the road at the moment. Um, but I did a test piece for the lava, and I liked how it came out. So it's very doable. It's just I should probably at least play a game on my new board first before I start making
Yeah,
edits.
yeah, you should. You should. Yeah, I'm just thinking. There's a friend of mine, David Rush from Terin, and if he was here, he'd probably be saying things. You could put LEDs in the lava and have it glow and do stuff like that. It's like,
I've got another a friend of mine who goes, oh yeah, then you could have this, and you can have a smoke machine. You can have that. It's like, okay, just chill. Just like I'm sure I could. Are you paying? um, yeah, there's all sorts of boards I'm gonna make out. I'm gonna make at some point, and I've been doing some more futuristic ones as well. So they are. I've got one half made because someone said they wanted to order one, and I got very excited about the idea. Then I half made it, and he's like, "I can't do this at the moment." And I was like, "Oh, that means I've got to stop making it though, because I haven't got space to store. I've only got space to store my board, let alone half a full board for someone else that I'm not going to use." But yeah, that was going to be cool. So, like Fallout 4 inspired,
Ooh,
just
nice.
so like light urban broken bridges, sewers, like like I've had this thing set up with like the LA River. So yeah, that kind of thing with bridges crossing it, and yeah. So I made a bunch of tiles for it, and I was like, oh, I want to finish this now, but can't really justify it. So one day, or if anyone just wants a kind of light urban Fallout 4 inspired board for their gaming, then hit me up.
I see that Tina Martins has joined us. Hi, Tina. And Dirty Basement Terrain is saying you could always use colored hot glue for lava, which is an option, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's the sort of thing I've played around with a little bit. I think that um, the biggest well, what I'm the amount of square footage of lava that I'm talking about would mean I just think I'd rather have the simplicity of and speed of just going tip rather
Yeah,
than.
yeah, good point. Yeah, it would be a lot of glue there.
I mean, I think if I wasn't doing it with resin, I'd probably use silicon rubber and then have a little toothpick and make all the little peaks and stuff in it and have the underneath of it, um, have the color coming through from underneath. Um, but yeah, colored hot glue is not the worst shout in the world, but that for me is for a smaller project than the probably 10 square feet of resin I would.
Jeez, that would be a lot of hot glue. Whoa. So,
Uh,
I was thinking, so because let's say that you've had this project, the Fallout 4 board you just mentioned, and if you have to put that aside for some time, then do you keep something like notes about what colors used or stuff like that? Because that's one problem I constantly have. If I get back to something after some time, if I leave something hanging for some time, and I leave it hanging, then usually color matching tends to be very difficult for me. For example, do you keep any notes to avoid that?
I think well, I've got two things in my favor. One, I've got a stupidly good memory, which is a blessing and a curse. And the other thing is that I film basically everything I do.
Aha.
So if I'm not sure what I did, or I can just go back to the. But no, there was nothing overly complicated. I don't think about anything that I did. So um, yeah, I think I don't, but it's all in the eye and the Iron Fortress.
Okay. So let's see. We have one more question about lava here from Dungeon Matron. Would spray foam on a tilted surface work for lava? Spray foam
Uh,
dries in lovely smooth bulges. Hmm.
as in expanding foam, I
I
guess she
guess so, yeah.
means.
Yeah.
Um, I, I have a love, mainly hate relationship with spray foam. Um, Mainly because if you get it on yourself, it's just the worst thing in the world. Like that sticky feeling that you just stays around for like 3 to 5 years. It just doesn't seem to go away. So, but I would say that the bulges that it comes out in are fantastic. The I feel like they are just probably too big. Like I think it always actually no. What do I really mean to say? What I mean to say is that the reason I dislike spray foam is how inconsistent it is.
And you don't really have much control over it, to be honest. So if it decides to expand this much, it's going to do that.
Yeah. So you go, right, okay, I've made this, I spent ages setting up where everything's going to go on this. You put the spray foam down, and we know it's going to expand, but it might go lovely flowy down the river type thing. Cool. Or it might go, who can tell? Um, yeah, so I think that it's an idea that's worth playing with, but I'm not going to be the person to play with it.
The one good use I found for spray foam is usually just create the foundation for stuff like hills and so on. So you spray it around randomly, it will come up, bubble up in random shapes, and then you just trim it down. But other than that,
Yeah.
anything that requires precision, I don't think it would be the best material for the job.
Yeah, I remember one of the first things I ever tried to do with spray foam. Um, Well, I've actually got it. It's in the other room still because can't I can't I can't part with it for some reason. It's awful though. But it was a big rock face wall with a gate that I made. Um, but I was like, I want to have some big chunks of this foam. So rather than like even thinking about the idea of buying any sort of foam, was that I just got a cereal box and just filled it full of expanding
All
foam
right.
to to kind of form the shape, but the expanding foam just went fuck you and just went just just made the whole box just go, yes, I'm going to expand outwards, and this is just cardboard, and I am not cardboard, and I win. So and it all just stuck to the inside of the box, and it was just dreadful. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
in
it's
principle,
not
I
my
think it was a
favorite
good idea.
material. Yeah, what you said. I mean, if you want a quick way to make either individual scatter rocks, or you want to make very quick hillside type things, and like you said, the spray foam is absolutely perfect for that. But there are gloves in the cat use them
Okay.
unless you want it on your fingers, and then you got sticky fingers for the rest of your life. Yeah, yeah. Most of them, like you have the expanding foam, you have the cap. You take the cap off, and inside of them, there's a little plastic packet with gloves in it. So you know,
So let's see. Evolution of Gaming is saying Karl makes stuff. Is it just me, or could he be Nat 20's cousin? Uh, so that's about Mike from. Is it Nat 1 or Nat 20 Evolution? Because yeah, but I did get some stuff from when you were talking about how you plan stuff and how you work. That did sound a lot like one of our friends.
I assume he's very handsome.
Yeah.
As long as he's good at his stuff, then I'll say yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, and Tina Martins is saying, I kinda like the spray foam, but you need to wear gloves and make them wet and tap on the foam to contain it. Oh,
Or just not use it.
or just not use it. Yeah, it's also a good option.
No, it's I just think it. If I wanted to, if someone said to me, you need to make a bunch of scatter rocks as many as you can in a day, I'd probably use spray foam. For
Mhm.
any other purpose, or if I just wanted to, I only I want to create something huge and completely random. I'd go for spray foam. For anything else that requires any level of accuracy, just no. If you found a way to make it behave for you, then I take my hat off to you. But
Okay, so Tina's saying that she did use some of that for the mountains in Hogwarts. And Tina, if you can you post some pictures in the community showcase so we can look at them later? I mean, we've looked at them already, but it's a great build. We're always happy to look at it.
I think
Uh,
that it can work, but I think that it depends what stage of the project you're at as well. I think that you don't want to be using it at any point other than very early stage
yeah.
because of how inconsistent it is. So it has to be like the base material that you're
Oh
using.
yeah, for sure.
You don't want to be doing a whole load of work on something else and going, right, now I'll put the spray foam in, and the spray foam just
Covers everything forever.
goes everywhere, ruins everything. Um, yeah. I think I got PTSD from like the first time I ever used it and just got it on my fingers. And was like, and then it's what's it, hydro something or other, which means that
It's
water makes it
hydro.
harder.
Oh
Can't remember the
crap!
word.
Yes, yes, it does. I forgot the word, but yeah. Oh, good.
Apparently, and you probably don't have this in your house either, but apparently, Veet hair removal cream is the thing to get it off if you do get it stuck to your fingers. But I've not got any,
Yeah,
strangely
yeah.
enough. I
I
don't know
wonder.
why. Don't know why.
Yeah, I should probably start keeping some if I plan to use that. Then. That's a good tip, though.
Yeah, if anyone else who is uh, does have that. I mean, I don't think many men probably have Veet hair removal cream, but for any of the women who might have some hair removal cream, that is the stuff to get that hard spray foam off of your skin, apparently.
Good to know. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to buy some pretty strange stuff for a person with no hair, like hair dryers and makeup brushes. So I mean, hair cream will not confuse people much more than they are already.
Yeah. I went into the shop the other day and I bought two things. I bought paracetamol and lots of string. And then and I said to the guy, like, do you ever get people coming up to the telling like, what the hell are they buying this combination of things for? And like, you're like, yeah, sometimes. Like, don't worry, I'm just off on my afternoon of taking paracetamol and playing with string. And he was really, really confused, which is exactly my intention. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there was the time that I bought, let's see, 2 tubs of Play-Doh, a tub of Vaseline, a box of surgical gloves, and a packet of blades for the craft knife. So yeah, I think that looked pretty weird as well. I'm pretty sure I'm on some kind of watch list now, but you know what happens.
like, what are you buying all this for? I think you know.
Just hobby stuff.
Don't judge me.
Okay, and Tina Martins is saying that acetone gets it off as well. So there's
I
another option.
wish I'd known that. I have like a liter of acetone in my cupboard, which I have had in there, but not at the same time where I've been using spray foam. So yeah, good. I'll know that for next time I don't use spray foam. I'm just hating on spray foam now. It is fine. Just won't use it again probably.
Okay,
See,
pre.
that's not all grassy and stuff. That's one of my more
True, yeah.
um. So that was a test piece for just wanting to try something dirty and grimy and futuristic. Love it.
Are those
Things you can.
sprue frames?
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, sprues just kind of hacked at with a knife, and then I think if I remember rightly, super glue and sand on them to give a rusty kind of texture.
Oh, okay.
I think I, I think I took this picture just after I put the Vallejo stuff on because there's like lots of
Yeah, it's
stuff where
white and
areas where
stuff,
it's
yeah.
not white there. So yeah, but that's part of the like the LA River type thing I was talking about. But yeah, that was the worst resin leak I've ever had. It was
Really?
just
Okay.
not fun.
What happened?
Um, so
Ah,
the
actually,
river was supposed to be basically full. So yeah, you can see down the side there. That was just literally, oh my God, how is it getting underneath that tile?
oh
Like
shit! All right.
so, I it everywhere you could possibly imagine it coming out, it came out.
So,
So
so you had to seal it all the way down. Jeez.
I had to seal it all the way around the edge, and yeah, it was just horrendous. But yeah, that kind of vibe, I really. If I have the thing is, I don't play anything like that, but I really like the idea of leaning into making a board that's just like this, just grotty
I mean,
and just
I could see this in
horrible.
a I could see this in a Mordheim board, for example, because it's perfect vibe for it.
Yeah, just gross. Um, and yeah, just little details and being able to use a bit more metal stuff because and having some more rust and
Mm-hmm.
like broken sewer pipes and stuff like that. Like the stuff like that. I mean, there's paper clips, but they just like look just being able to do something like that, which just feels out of place in like the Lord of the Rings game. But in that, it's just like, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, those like that. It's like that pipe there and having it
I
leaking and
like the
grimy.
rust effect on it.
Yeah, so that was just uh think that was new done with typhus corrosion and riser rust, just the Citadel standards. Um, but the pipe itself was just a pen. Like I
Okay, all
think
right.
it might have even been a Sharpie. It's like an old Sharpie that run out. Just yeah, smash it up a bit and then paint it. But
Okay, Questboard Train is asking, is the white glue, sorry, is the white stuff super glue? I'm not sure if she's talking about.
he's talking about that stuff in the river, and there, that is the Vallejo water texture, which if it is dry, which it's either that I put too much on and it's too, because it tends to dry clear, but if you put too much on, it doesn't. So it's either that it wasn't dry yet when I took that photo, or I put too much on. So I'm going to be generous and say that I took the picture too early.
Okay, I see David joined us. Hi, David. Just mentioned you a few minutes ago, and Evolution of Gaming is saying, hope that's a wooden log, or we have a very big problem.
We have a very big problem. Don't judge me. Look, it looks good, so we're using it. Okay, I don't care where it came from. No, no. Look, it's if it was actually what you're suggesting, it would not have made its way through the sewer because those bars are too close together.
Ah,
No, it's nice to sort of like grab like roots and stuff and just chuck them. I'm literally just grab some roots from a dead bit of tree, snapped off a bit of dead tree, and you just chuck it into some water and go, that's gross. And it just looks great. Love it.
I mean,
So
I really like the vibe of the zone.
yeah, it's just nice to have something that's a bit gross. I mean, it's literally just a test tile. I just like, you know what? I'm gonna make something a bit different, and I just kind of threw this together. Learned some stuff from doing it. Um, my first chance to use so the bricks. Was the first time I'd used a my brick foam roller. Like, oh my god, that is so quick. Um, and just putting and getting the different colors and textures into the bricks just really just it's really nice. It's really easy. So yeah, making me want to do it. It's like that's up on like a shelf in my kitchen somewhere, like just with a load of other shit.
All right.
I'm just looking at it and going, I want to make more stuff like that. I think just because it's different. It's like Chris, you just finished your massive board that you haven't had a game on yet. Just chill. Oh, yeah, gross
Ooh, okay.
sewer.
Yeah, Evolution of Gaming is saying, I was suggesting that whatever made it is cylinder.
Well, yeah, I mean, could be. It's like a massive tyrannid dump.
Okay, let's jump on to another one. Okay.
So this is from my first modular board I ever made, and um, yeah, there's something about this tile, this the little tower thing, its little mistakes and stuff that I just love it. It just yeah, as an objective for playing, it's just and that's a waterfall at the back of the first waterfall I ever did. Um, very out of focus, but
That's all right.
yeah, it's I don't know what it is about that tile, but it just felt alive or something. I don't know. It was just a fun tile to play around with. Um, me and my friend Stephen, we did a whole Battle Companies campaign, and we live streamed the whole thing. And he was just obsessed with this tile. And every time we played, he'd point down at the tile and goes, "This one's my favorite." So love this tile. It's like, all right, but yeah, that's in Australia now. So yeah,
What had you
wish I'd made that.
what had you used for the river and this one again?
So that's just resin again, but yeah, I had a lot more color into it. So I
Ah,
mean
okay.
that river was probably like in unreal, like almost cartoony blue, like realistically blue because I painted the bottom of the river blue and put too much color in the resin itself, so it was like double blue. So it was like vibrant and it was fun and it looked good, but did it look realistic at all? Not so much. Whereas compared to the the river you showed, half an hour ago.
Hmm.
That you know, I think that looks about as realistic as you can make a river look, and within the confines of having it as a modular tile and having it only a centimeter deep. But yeah, and it's not like I hated that river. I just
but you can see the difference in
I learned from it.
yeah, I mean, and the difference in depth here is like whoa. But again, I mean,
Yeah.
you probably could not have made this if you had not made this before.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing is that like we said about people being like not comfortable with the idea of making terrain or making scenery or stuff is that whatever you create is the next is your current step in your progress, and the next thing you make
Yeah.
will probably be better than that, and then the next one will be better than that. So if I was to make, I loved that tower tile when I made it, but if I was to make that again now, I'd be disappointed if that was the outcome because I know that I can do it better than that. Not that I can know I can do things to make it um, jump out more and be more gross or be more dingy or be more realistic or whatever. And then just keep I mean just keep making stuff and you will learn stuff and then you will learn techniques which don't seem relevant to one thing that you're making. You go, oh yeah, if I did that there, then that would be useful for that thing over there, but you don't realize it at the time. So,
Do you ever get like looking at something that you've just finished and you're like, oh, I should have done this or should have done that or whatever, or is it just okay, that's done, learn new things, I'm going to work on another thing now. How does it work for you?
um, I think that I think that I have I said about not getting tied to outcomes when you're making stuff,
Hmm.
but I think I tend to have an idea of what I think something's going to end up looking like. So, and I'd say that more often than not, it I hit the mark with it, and I think that's because I don't know if that's because of low expectations and like, oh, good, it's fine, or because I'm better than I think I am. I don't know, but um, I like I said a minute ago, I make mistakes and I make big mistakes, but it's kind of just like rolling with the punches with it if you possibly can. Um, but oh yeah, like I also like I had a tile that was perfectly fine, and then next thing I know, I'm cutting the center out of it to make it into a mine entrance. So and the thing is that like that mine entrance tile, in terms of material cost, very little. So if I'd completely ruined it, it'd be really annoying because the time I'd have to put to make another tile again would be whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not actually none of it matters.
Mm.
It's just a bit of terrain. So
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to enjoy it. And if you make a mistake, either throw it in the bin and start again, or try and make the best of it. But it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Not the end of the world kind of thing. Yeah.
It's all meaningless. We're all going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think personally, I think for sometimes I think I do get too attached to something. It was like I should have done that. But yeah,
No,
in perspective, it makes sense.
I think that it I don't tend to have any regrets about like scenery stuff. I mean, um there's a couple of things on my new board. I'm like, I rushed that when I really really didn't need to.
Mm.
Like um like the lake tile, I absolutely love the lake tile, but because I rushed something on it, it doesn't join up with other tiles as well as it could have done. Like
Is that the
only
one?
by like a
Is that the
couple
one
of
with the pool in it in the
yeah,
moat
that's
and
the one
the
with the
earth?
pool in it. Yeah, yeah. So like basically, it's like the cut is just like 2 mil off, so it's nothing really, really like nothing. But where it's such a central, where it's like a showpiece like tile, it has attention drawn to it. So it's like, look, if you'd
Mm.
just taken a bit more time over that, then it'd look better. But so I might do something to try and make that, try and cover that up. I mean, if you can't, then you just put scatter rocks on it. So why do you make scatter rocks? So I love the variety of the grass and the leaves. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the liked how the flock came together on that one. I think that obviously the modular tiles they all have to have the same flock at the edges, but you can have a bit more variety
Yeah.
on the inside. So I think I kind of had I mean, it's just like nearly a year ago I made that, but I think I had like a gradiated thing where, the edges had to be the same. Then there was like a grassy, stony mix on closer to the kind of bit that I'd carved out as cobblestones. And then the closest bit was, static grass.
I think you can see
Um,
the three bands quite clearly here.
yeah, you nailed that. It's almost like we planned it, but we hadn't.
We're that good.
Yeah, absolutely vibing. But yeah, I mean, it came together really, really nicely. That I mean, one of my one of my favorite tiles from that board, I think, along with the waterfall one.
Okay, let's see.
I do
Okay.
really want to make a massive, massive waterfall. Oh, there she is. That was like the full board.
So this is the
Not
first
quite.
first board, right?
Yeah, that's the first board I made. Um, yeah, don't think that. I think that's 5 by 4. So there's 4 tiles missing from that. But yeah, no, they are elves, and you can call them elves. So that's okay. Some Mirkwood elves and I will name. But yeah, that was my building on the left. Jesus wept. That took me some time.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Is one
So
of your
that was
first buildings, or is it just because you kept
um.
adding stuff to it?
So actually, I'm just trying to think. That was the first iteration. I made that same building twice. So I made
Okay.
that one, decided I didn't like how I made it, and then made it again. So that is my take on the Games Workshop released the Gondor Mansion, and I basically just stole the idea directly from. So it looks more or less like that if you look it up. Um, but yeah, that was my first iteration of it, and then I sold that to someone and went, I want a better one. So yeah, the one I've got in the box behind me is far superior to that in every way.
I'm just looking at this
But
strip over here and the railing on the balcony. Is that foam?
yeah. So this is one of my. I mean, you must have had this yourself at some point, but we have something where it's just the most complete accidental. Oh my God, this is awesome thing. Okay, so the way I made that was to have um a strip of foam. So like, what's
Hmm.
that, centimeter by uh nearly like 20 centimeters, something like that. And I put a little notch every centimeter, and just all I did was just push it into the hot wire cutter halfway, and then just let the hot wire cutter just expand that hole a little bit, and then pull it out again.
Okay, I get you.
Move it along, push it in, let it expand, and just like kept. And I was like, "Oh my God!" So I was planning on like doing like trying to do a little shape, but I just slid it in and then out again. I was like, "Well, that looks awesome," and yeah, so it's not the most perfectly replicable thing. That's why there's kind of inconsistencies in them, but at the same time,
But yeah,
it
but
doesn't have to be perfect.
it does sound great because when I was looking at that, and I asked if that was foam because I thought that must have taken ages to cut. But actually, just letting the hot wire cutter
Be
overheat it, yeah,
hot.
it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel free to use it. So I've realized that this is not this is actually the second iteration, but the corner bit, so the bottom left-hand corner there, so that's like blue foam kind of showing through there. So I had these kind of corner pads on that I thought would look cool, and they look shit like they do there. Um, so they ended up being done slightly differently. But yeah, the whole roof comes off of that, and the inside is playable. Um, so yeah, it's a really fun bit of terrain. I'm kind of thinking of selling it. Well, if someone said have 100 quid, I'd be like, okay, you can have it. Um, but yeah, it just takes up so much space. Like, oh, there's my first rope bridge. Memories.
No, I'm just looking at the river tiles here, and I know it looks darker than the other one and stuff, but it looks really good. It's reminding me of the rivers in they used to have in White Dwarf magazine, way,
Oh
way,
yeah,
way
yeah, yeah.
back in the 90s.
So you can see that tower tile there, and it's sort of got some more
Mm-hmm.
flock in it now. It looks better than in the previous picture. So yeah,
Yeah, I see it's got more growth on the walls and stuff.
yeah. Obviously hadn't done that at that point, but yeah. On the little ford as well for people to cross.
Over here, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. And then the waterfall that you can't really see the good side of. But
What I'm noticing here
yeah,
is that
it's
this hill really lines up really neatly. You can barely see that.
yeah. So like, if you want to make four-way hills, like if you're doing a modular type thing, then static grass uh, on the top is a really good way to go, and you just do it all, like get it all aligned as perfectly as you can, and then static grass the whole thing. Then
Love
it
it.
tends to kind of go together really nicely.
Kind of because it hides the any seam, yeah.
Hides hides the
Oh,
join, and those because and the thing is that those two tiles are only ever going to go next to each other like that. So
mm,
they won't.
gotcha.
They might be like turned out into a corner somewhere at some point, but if they're going to be next to any tile, it's going to be that one. So well, you can get away with it. More easily
Aha.
like that.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, that's a good tip.
Synthetic grass hides a multitude of sins.
Nice. Okay, so I think that was all the pictures that you sent in. So would you like to have a look at the community showcase and see what everyone has made?
Yeah, I was going to feel humbled to be the one looking at it rather than sending it in. So yeah, let's have a look.
Okay, bringing it up. First one up is from Earthmembrick. Let's see, TT Combat MDF crates with some extra greenery added.
That that looks to me like something that should be in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like like supply crates that have been like overgrown with shit. Like yeah,
Yeah, it fits that
I
vibe perfectly.
love it. That's immediately what I thought when I saw that. This like that kind of gross post-apocalyptic vibe thing. Love him, but they're
Okay,
kind
so
of cute at the same time.
yeah, I mean, they're very colorful.
Yeah.
You don't, even if you're doing post-apocalyptic, it doesn't all have to be brown and gray. Okay, so let's see. Work rate Scenics, Ramashakal Residence, also from Steve. So this is the box art,
Jeez.
and this is Steve's take on it. It dirties up very nicely.
So is that a kit or is he scratch built that?
It's a kit, I think. It's this kit.
I wasn't sure if that he'd taken that as inspiration and then scratch built it. No, that is really. I love the growth in the roof. Like my roof is like on my house here, just like covered in moss and stuff, and I think that's kind of something that can get very easily overlooked as an area to kind of
Yeah.
exploit as a chance for some overgrowth. But the whole thing is just awesome. I love the rafter details, although I don't know if it's rafters, but the where the roof's like kind of caved in
hmm
towards the front. Love that. Nice.
Okay, so let's see. And these are okay.
Love his
Um,
love his don't give a fuck pose.
think there are some
Like,
scratch built pieces in here. Is that right, Steve?
I'm not familiar with this game at all, to be honest, but he looks like a goblin who has um, had a child with Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy, or stolen his kit at least.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely tiny.
Okay, moving on. Let's see. Quest for terrain. Finished my lair build. Working on the monster. Okay, actually,
That's just cute.
let me see if I can enlarge it a little because that's very tiny. There we go.
So cute.
Whoa.
Uh, are they on the live now? I mean, how big is it?
I'm guessing it's 28 millimeter scale. But Kim can tell us in the chat.
I was wondering how big the thing is, and it looks. I mean, I put detail into stuff, but I mean that's just next level, isn't it?
Yeah.
Little open book and the crystal ball and the skull.
And the other crystal ball.
Yeah,
There's actually
love
something
it.
hidden behind here. I can't quite make it out, but yeah.
It's Horcrux.
And yeah, Earthman Brick is saying that the bodies are scratch built on the previous two
They're
guys.
scratch built.
Yeah, so I'm guessing he's using the arms and the heads from this kit, and the rest of the body is scratch built.
Yeah, that's beyond my capabilities. I mean, hats off. Just yeah.
Okay, and
I
Quest Portain
I,
is
I
saying
I struggle. I struggle to hit kit bash well. 5 by 8. Wow,
at
that
5 by 8 inches. Yeah.
epic. Yeah, that is yeah
So
more detailed than anything else I've ever made in my life. So impressive.
yeah, I think it's one of those things between wargaming builds and builds for table. Sorry, yeah, builds for tabletop war games and builds for tabletop role playing games. It's you know, people tend to stuff more detail into them.
Yeah, I mean that's
Sick.
so cool. I mean, I think you can, when you see stuff like that, you just can. Well, for me at least, I can just
There we
instantly picture an old wizard just fucking around in there, having a great time.
go. So this is being built for the lair challenge. So basically, we're every couple of months we do a challenge on the stream where we just grab a team and everyone builds something that fits that team. So this is Questboard Train's work on that. Hey, look at the
I love it. He wins.
tiny potion bottles.
I mean, it's just really cute, but incredibly impressive at the same time.
Let's see more details. Ah, it's another skull in there. Okay.
Oh, no, another skull, but looks like a sheep head, maybe. I just love the vibrancy from all of the different colors of the
Yeah,
books,
yeah.
and just like the books themselves. I mean, I'm like with the greatest respect, I'm sure they weren't the most complicated thing in the world to make, but the way they've just been like, it's one of those things where it looks like they're books that have just been randomly thrown on the shelves, but I'm sure that a huge amount of thought went into it, but it doesn't look like a lot of thought went into it, which makes it look even more impressive. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
I mean, I think it's so important, like, and I mentioned this in a bunch of my videos on my channel. There's so many times when I just wish I could turn my brain off. Like, you just go, right, I want to put these stuff things randomly on a shelf or whatever,
Ah,
on a
okay.
paint. Oh, I like so. For example, when that building I showed you when I had the cobblestone floor that I painted the
Yeah.
cobblestones in, like when you start, so obviously you do like one color at a time. You know, you could do one stone, change color one stone, but you don't. You do one color at a time, and you go this stone, this stone, this stone, this stone, and it's so difficult to not. Your brain wants patterns to exist, but you want randomness to exist, and the more you think about it, the less random it becomes. So you have to kind of just try and switch your brain off and just go paint, paint, paint. But so this is like the perfect example of where I'm sure a huge amount of thought went into exactly what everything it went, but it looks like it's been thrown on, which is exactly what he was going for probably. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love it, and the
Definitely.
colors, the heights.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place. There are a
It
few
looks like
different
chaos.
textures in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the different spines on all of them as well. Just really, really love it.
Yeah.
It looks like intentional chaos is what it looks like. Like it's the sort of thing where the wizard knows where every single book is, so don't move anything, even though they're not in height order, they're not color organized, they're not in alphabetical order. Just don't move them. I know where every book is. Yeah, love that.
I guess I might be a wizard. Let's see.
It's your calling.
Okay, next up we have some Greeble towers, also from Earthman Brick.
Nice.
Oh, these are going to paint upgrade.
Oh, I think like I've got a bag in my cupboard of just random crap that I want to make into terrain at some point. Like, and no, you some of these like builds that people come up with from just like trash builds are just insane. I like honestly cannot wait to see what that turns into, especially the Pringles can. Like once that's been like undercoated and like dry brush and everything else that's going to go with it, it's just going to look. I don't even know what it's going to be, and I don't care. I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, and with these builds, the moment that you've got them all one color, when you prime them, it really changes everything over.
Yeah. So when it first came up, I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at, and now I'm like, I cannot wait to see how that turns out. Just,
Okay. Next up is Tina's humongous Hogwarts build, the one with the expanding foam.
yeah, you win. Yeah, that's just great, isn't it? I mean, what else can you say? And
Yeah, I mean, this is some movie quality model work, in my opinion.
so has that been scratch built from just foam?
I think Tina mentioned that the rocks at the base were expanding foam. I know that she built the rest of the stuff from mostly XPS foam and over cardboard. I know there are a few 3D printed pieces here and there, like the greenhouses, I think. But yeah, and I think there
Yeah.
were a couple of.
Can you zoom in on the cliffs at the bottom?
Sure, there we go.
Yeah. So these colors that she's got out of this and the texture, just chef's kiss. Just, I mean, I've spent a lot of time looking at cliff faces recently with my the build that I've done and the inspiration. Oddly enough, I mean, you wouldn't believe this for a second, but the um my most recent board, the mountainous one,
Hmm.
was inspired by June.
Okay. Is it because
What?
of the cliffs and the
So in the I can't remember, but the planet that all Atreides comes from,
Caladan? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Caladan, that's it. I was watching the first June film about a week before I started work um on that, and there's a some cliffs in the background. I was like, and I took a photo of the screen. I was like, that is what I want my board to look like. Yeah, but yeah, I've looked at a lot of cliff faces, and I just absolutely love the colors and the shapes and the texture because I've had to kind of sacrifice variety because of the modularity of it.
Okay.
And a lot of these cliffs look like how I would like my cliffs to look like, but I can't make them look like that exactly because of the restrictions I placed on myself. But I mean, even like, oh, that's just, I mean, what else can you say apart from just well done? I mean, that's, yeah, be very proud of yourself. I really hope that you are.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. We keep reminding her.
But like, so here's an interesting question. We were talking about like commissions and pricing and stuff. How much would she? Someone said to her, "Here's some money. What's like the lowest amount of money that she would accept for someone just to take it off her and then it's gone and she can't do anything with it anymore?" So,
If I'm if
yeah,
I'm not
because I
mis
mean, think about
if I'm not mistaken, she already gave this to a friend of hers. I'm not sure if it was a commission or just a gift or something. So, Tina, if someone had to buy something like this, how much would you charge for it? Because that is an interesting question.
because that is, I mean, I don't know how many hours of work that is. I'm just trying to think about everything that's had to go into that. I mean, that's hundreds of hours, surely. Unless you're way, way better than me, which you probably are. I mean, the proof is there. But even if you're really, 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 really good, that still takes a long time.
Yeah, but on the other hand, she does work at surprising speed. I mean, she is scary fast with the foam.
You paid for, oh my God, you are the most generous human alive. I mean, yeah. I mean, materials cheap in general. Wow. I mean, I think I need a friend like you.
Everyone needs a friend like Tina.
Oh, can you make me a massive Hogwarts diorama, please? Oh, here's 50 quid for the materials. Oh, 40 because you're using expanding foam. I'm sure it was more than that, but even still, just wow. What did she do with it? I mean, did she just look at it and go, I've got this awesome Hogwarts thing? Yeah. I mean,
Okay, let's jump to the next one. We've got campaign train coming up. Oh, looks like he's doing some batch production.
these bases for the towers at the background, and those are the bases for them. That what we're looking at.
Second,
Are those brick curvy things at the back? Are they the towers to go on top of these bases? Do we think?
not sure. Cross, are those towers for these bases? And actually, let me check because there might be another photo later on. Oop. Okay, so more of these rocks.
I'm a I'm a big fan.
I mean, that's high volume stuff going on in there. Oh, actually, I don't think they're meant to be bases. I think they're just stackable.
I love them.
So I'm guessing that the towers are an upcoming project.
Those are Moria goblins, aren't they? Certainly look like them.
Yes.
Oh yes, it says Moria Goblin Warrior. Check me out, recognizing shit. Yeah, I love the, I love how jagged they are.
I think they're from
Big.
from a different game system, Hero Clicks or something. I forgot what that was.
Yeah, I love how, I love the jaggedness of the rocks, and that's one thing I've really enjoyed with making my thing is just going, yeah, this is just going to be brutally jagged, and then the dry brushing to bring up the detail. It never ceases to amaze me how much dry brushing just changes it.
Ah,
How
okay. He's saying
the
that they're just backed up.
and so I was saying, it never fails to amaze me how much dry brushing just completely
Oh yeah,
changes how
yeah.
a rock surface like oh this looks all right, and then you dry brush it and go oh, just
and I
becomes
mean,
something else entirely.
even the type of brush used makes a big difference for dry brushing. So if you're going for something that looks like really dusty and grimy, use the big soft brush. If you want sharp stuff, go for a harder brush. But both of them just really work really good because they add so much detail.
So I think my favorite is the obelisks type things, like the one that's like middle left at the moment.
This one,
Yeah, them. Yeah, them. Yeah, big fan of them.
yeah, great stuff, Chris. Let's see, this one is. No, I think this one came up before.
Oh, that is the detail in that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I like the use of these
big fan.
stickers as a backdrop as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the scatter rocks that I made for this most recent board,
Hmm.
I happened to pile them up just to stack them out of the way at one point. I was like, that actually looks really cool. Like had wasn't the intention for it whatsoever, but I just like stacked them up. I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool, and that's kind of exactly what we got going on here.
Okay, we've also got more from Cross. We've got these crates going on. No, that's
Yes,
much scatter terrain.
no, that is the absolute definition of rugged. Rugged little crates. Love them. Humble lolly stick made to be. Well, I'm assuming it's lolly stick, but yeah, they just look great,
Yeah,
don't
it
they?
looks like logistics, yeah. And I mean, it's
I mean, the
versatile, it's
only thing
flexible.
I'd say, I'm not sure if they are finished or not, but I'd just love to see some grime on them, bit of color variation. But other than that, and construction wise, they're like exactly what they should look like. But yeah, I'd love to see them. I'd love to see some dirty ones, and I'd love to see some smashed ones. Just get some more variety going on. But in terms of construction, you can't fault it. It's exactly what they should look like.
Yeah, but again, I think these crates fall under the super useful terrain. It's like the stuff you can just keep using everywhere in every different situation.
Well,
So
absolutely, yeah. I mean,
there's always
it's
place for them.
but I mean, yeah. If you want to make something that's versatile, then there's not much more versatile than crates. Like, any game system at any point, it's like, well, yeah, wooden crates. It doesn't matter. I'm sure they had wooden crates in Middle Earth, and I'm sure they have wooden crates in Necromunda, but no, could not be further apart. But still just as useful.
Okay, let's see. Okay, Tina is spoiling us now with some close-ups
Stop it.
of the cliff.
It's awful. Hate it. Nah, I mean that's. Oh, look at that. I mean,
That's
well,
some of
I put a photo of the waterfall tile I've done on my most recent board on Reddit,
Mhm.
um, and a bunch of people were saying how it looked, or how they thought it was actually a waterfall I'd taken a photo of. That if you showed that to anyone, they were like, no, if you did a super close inspection or whatever, then you kind of notice that it's not real. But anyone looking at that at first glance would be like, where's that castle? Where's that cliff face? Where do you take a photo of that? There's nothing about that cliff face whatsoever that makes you go, that isn't real,
Yep.
other than the fact that I know the circumstances which we're in means that that isn't a real cliff face. But just love how I, I love the variety between the greys and the browns and it just looks so natural, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Just yeah, chef's kiss.
Okay, yeah, Tina's an absolute star when it comes to this, and yep, there is a reason we go to her for advice. Okay, next, coming up next, also from Tina, it's a display for some adventures. So let's see
No,
what's.
I wouldn't have done it yellow if I were you.
Say again, sorry.
I said I wouldn't have done it yellow. Um, I, there's just something absolutely wonderful about just making a ruined building. Just
I know, right?
like the always a new way of just having it broken. I think that there's yeah, God, that is beautiful, isn't it? There,
Oh, the layers of texture and the wood. Yeah.
yeah, love that. I mean, can't wait to see what that turns out like. But I'm guessing it's going to be good. I reckon. No, I'm not. I can't predict the future, but I reckon that's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean that's a
Yeah,
good educated guess. Yeah.
strong chance. Um, but what I like about this, I mean, I think when you know when I think back, looking back on my first like ruined buildings and stuff, is you go right, we're gonna have this and it's gonna have two floors, whatever. And when you look at it, it's like, well, that would just fall apart because that's not how buildings work.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see like the and I kind of did this in my own kind of ruined building we saw earlier. Um, actually putting rafters in and stuff like that. I think it is just takes it up a notch. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah.
doesn't change anything at all. In terms of like if you're playing it within the context of a war game, it doesn't change anything for anyone whatsoever. No one gives a fuck. Like, but if you're the person that's made it particularly, and you go, well, I put rafters in, and I know I put rafters in, and they look absolutely glorious. Um, that's I just love that. And then just that archway with the kind of diamondy top, just
Yeah, that's an extra.
that's just like it's. I mean, if that was just a curve to a point, as you kind of get a standard, like
Mm-hmm.
particularly with
Yeah.
my own builds, then nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Like literally nothing would be great, and we would say, yeah, that looks fantastic. That just extra bit of shape, for some reason, it just adds so much. And then just like little, can you zoom in on the right hand wall, just on the
Sure thing.
little window ledges? Yeah, just like that, just little bit of rather than it just being a hole that's cut out, actually having just that couple of mil overhang. Just again, it just adds something of a je ne sais quoi that you just go, yeah, makes it that much more real and believable. And having like on the top layer, just having the brick just slightly offset again, it's great.
Yeah. No kidding. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see this one painted up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
are they D&D models?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
She mentioned that they were given to her at Facts in Belgium. That's I think it's role playing and gaming convention. Okay.
I
Next
want to
up.
make a ruined building now.
Next up, this one's from Dirty Basement Terrain. Dun dun dun.
It's creepy, isn't it?
Okay, so I know because he put a video out about this recently. So that's a plastic skull, and this
Hmm.
smoke guts or whatever stuff is hot glue.
Hot glue.
Yeah,
Oh, love it. I was like, the there going, yeah, like we were talking about hot glue as lava earlier.
yeah,
And that's, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's just epic. looks like something from a Sam Raimi film or something that's just going to
Oh
dive
yeah,
out of
pretty
the
much.
floor and just eat your face or steal your soul or maybe both.
Yeah, both is good. Okay,
Yeah,
so this one coming up is also made up from hot glue.
still hot by the looks of it. Yeah, that's just brilliant, isn't it?
I mean, it's an unusual sculpting material, but again, it's a whole sculpting process.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't how I'd make it, but if I could make it like that out of hot glue, I probably would. I just love. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to, but it looks like two hands of fire coming out from
Ah,
the.
true. Yeah.
I don't know if that's intentional because she has like the fire coming from her hands in like the same kind of way, but yeah, this looks like she's summoning. Yeah, I just wish it was photoed on a black base and then the bases of them were just lost into it a bit more.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you
Um,
mean.
like, can you just do them entirely again, but on a flagstone basis? No, I mean, could not be like splitting hairs more on that one. And it's just the whole scene is just epic. But yeah, I'm still trying to get my head around the fact that that's hot glue.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Lawrence does a whole lot of stuff with hot glue. I mean, it's like,
I just love it when you see. I mean, I think fire stuff can be really difficult to do well, and I think when you are able to look at something and it actually looks hot, and that actually looks like it that you'd know, but there'd be a tiny part of you that's slightly apprehensive about picking that up. Like, I know that's not fire, I know that's not hot, but I'm still going to be slightly cautious. There'll be that part of your brain that goes, "We know what that looks like. We know we need to be a little bit careful here." Love it.
yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And let's see, coming in. Okay, so Tina really wants to hurt us now. Uh, so this is the Hogwarts model in its new home.
How many hours does that take you, Tina? You're gonna say like 12, one-handed, 12 hours.
Sorry.
I'm just in awe of that whole thing and like just the planning that go must have gone into that and the time and the accuracy
Oh,
that burns in the process.
yeah, that's about the fire elementals earlier.
I mean, if you got away with only a couple, then you probably did okay. Year and a half. So you spent a year and a half on that for just the cost of materials. You are a saint, like possibly an angel, maybe both. I mean, it's just, yeah, wow. I'm just, I mean, at the moment, I'm just looking at just like the windows um in the roof. Yeah, them. Please
Those?
heavy this there. Yeah, down on the roof section. Down. There.
These ones?
Center. Yeah. Yeah. Them. Just I don't know what it is about the fact that they are so perfectly aligned. I mean, we know how to measure stuff and we know how to cut stuff, but just I don't know, seeing just the level of accuracy that's had to gone into all of that is just. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this a few times before, but I'm always happy to show it up again because it's, this is some truly aspirational level stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can only assume that she's cheated. Just, just she's gone to Harry Potter World and just stolen Hogwarts
Yeah, just
from
walked out with the
thing.
movie model under a trench coat.
Just stolen Hogwarts, shrunk it a tiny bit, and then pretended she's made it. That's the only thing I can assume at this point. No, I mean, I'm ridiculously impressed. I mean, sometimes you see stuff and you're just like, look at how it's incredible. I mean, that's all you can say really. It's just yeah,
Okay, and
well done, Tina.
last item. Okay, this is from Earthman Brick. He's just to show which parts of the miniatures were scratch built.
Hang on. Yeah, I mean, my milliput skills are weak at best. Done a couple of things, but yeah, to have the imagination and the skill to, to go like that, it's just, well, I haven't dived too much into doing stuff with green stuff or etc. But I've done a
It's,
few things with milliputs, and yeah, and
I mean, it is a different skill entirely. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
you know, one thing that I that happens to me most often is like I'm looking for a detail to put somewhere, whatever. I keep just looking through the bits box and stuff like that, and I think I'm okay at sculpting, but it never occurs to me to sculpt anything when I'm working on terrain. It literally just doesn't go through my head.
Yeah, that doesn't enter my consciousness either. I don't think. Well, no, with the board I did most recently, when I said I asked for suggestions, someone said, "Oh, you should make a building that was used to be a farm that was which held specifically goats, and there should be goat skulls around." I was like, "How on earth would I make a goat skull?" I was like, "Well, anyone who with a remote amount of sculpting skill would have just gone." You know that milliput you've got in the cupboard, which is probably too dry to use now, but that's still there. You could make it out of that. I was like, nah, I was like, oh, I've got no idea how I do that, so I'm not going to do it. But yeah, but coming back to these, I don't think you'd ever guess that they were scratch built. And and what more can you, what bigger compliment can you play to something scratch built than to say that doesn't look like it could ever possibly be scratch built because
Yeah, for sure.
it just doesn't. This looks like that's how they should come.
So just
I'm,
check here.
I'm interested to know why what's wrong with the models as they come that means that you wanted the scratch build. I mean, I don't know the game at all, so or is it just for fun? I don't know.
Uh, Most probably for fun, but I think he also gets more models out of the box that way.
Point well made.
Because I think with these kits you always get a few extra arms and heads and stuff. So rather than letting them go to waste, just builds more bodies.
I mean, that's just canny. That is
Yeah.
you, using your noggin.
Okay, so that was all the stuff in the community showcase. Great work, everyone.
Yeah, just I'm blown away by basically all of it. So yeah, thank you for letting me see them and sharing it. It's just good stuff.
Yeah, and your thoughts about them were really interesting because I think we keep discussing the same things between the same group of people. It's always good to have insight from someone who's not in that same bubble kind of thing.
Yeah, you can end up being in a bit of an echo chamber. So um, but I'm be surprised if you're not all saying, "Yeah, that's really good," because all of that was really good. I only get 5 miniature bodies on the sprue, but with an extra arms, you need to make an extra 10. Well,
There you
now
go.
I understand. It's not just that the models are shit then. But no, I can make more of them and better. Right? Makes sense.
He can rebuild them. He has the technology.
So so I've been tempted in the past to try and um, the in Lord of the Rings that the trolls turn to stone in the daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been wondering about making terrain with like stone trolls. I was like, well, I don't want to go and spend money on an actual cave troll and then paint it like it's turned to stone.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I had any remote level of skill with using milliput or whatever, I would make a cave troll out of.
Okay. Depending on how close you want it to resemble a troll model. If you look at Dirty Basement's Dirty Basement Terrain's channel, I can send you a link later. He's got these basically earth elemental things carved out of foam. So you can literally carve them the same way you do rocks normally.
Oh, really?
So I think that would take
Okay.
you a good way to what you. As long as you don't
It
want them
would
to look
be,
exactly like the stone troll models, then just make them chunkier ones or whatever. I think that would be a good halfway point.
yeah. I mean, it certainly sounds like it. I mean, whether I've got the skill to do that is another matter. But yeah, it's a if there's a direction, then I'll give it a go. I mean, why not? I mean, nothing to lose other than a bit of foam.
Yeah. Okay, so I think. Oh, okay. It's been over 2 hours now, so I think I've kept you long enough already.
All right.
Um, Sorry for
Been
that.
fun
And
chatting.
yeah, great fun chatting to you, and thank you so much for dropping in. It's been really good talking to you.
Yeah, it's been a good laugh. Thanks for everyone for your questions and your comments and sharing your epic work with me. I mean, it's yeah,
Yeah,
been
just
fun.
going to drop your link in the chat again, so go say hello, people. There we go.
Yeah, give me a follow. Drop me any questions that you might have, and yeah, um, thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thanks for coming. It has been a pleasure talking to you. And for everyone else, just a reminder that we will not be having a stream next week, but we will have the layer crafting challenge the Sunday after that. So take care, everyone, and have a great time. Bye.